Creators. This is Mrs. Beck finishing up our time thinking about food chains and food webs today. We're going to be doing some guided notes for today, and you're going to have the sheet already glued into your science notebook, and you're going to be filling in some information. So here's what I would like you to do is make sure you have a pencil with a good eraser would be great, nice and sharp. Remember, you can stop this video at any time if you need to take your time to write down the word. If I'm going a little bit too quickly for you, feel free to push pause. I'm okay with that, and it is perfectly fine for you to do that. So here we go. So first of all, we're going to take a look at this. One of the characteristics of all living things is that they obtain and use energy. For plants, that means capturing energy from the sun and using it to produce food. This process is called photosynthesis. And we're going to go ahead and get that in here for you, photosynthesis. And that is PHOTOSYNTHESIS. Photosynthesis. All right. The next paragraph says, food that is not used by the plant for its own life activities is stored in the different parts of the plant, and because they produce their own foods, plants are called producers. So in this blank, you're going to write producers. P-R-O-D-U-C-E-R-S. Animals, however, do not produce their own food. They must consume it by eating plants or by eating animals that eat plants. For this reason, they are called, I bet you can guess, consumers. C-O-N-S-U-M-E-R-S. All right, now it's your turn over here on this side. You're going to draw a producer in this area, and you're going to draw a consumer over here. So something that produces its own food is going to go here, and it's something that consumes food goes here. And I'm going to go ahead and move on. You can come back to this part in a little bit. Take your time. You may add color to this if you would like to. Remember, more detailed drawings helps you get more points in science. You're going to hear a car go by. I'm sitting out on my porch tonight making a video for you. So next we have food chains and food webs. So in our first paragraph it says some animals eat plants and obtain the energy stored in the plant. Animals that eat only plants are called herbivores. This is a weird spelling, H-E-R-B-I-V-O-R-E-S. Herb means plant, vor means to eat. All right. They may graze and nibble plant material. Other animals get their energy by eating the plant eaters. If an animal eats only other animals, it is called a carnivore. C-A-R-N-I-V-O-R-E. Carne means meat, and vor means eat. So that means that they are a meat eater. Animals that eat both plants and other animals are called omnivores. I love this one. O-M-N-I-V-O-R-E-S. Omnivores. Omni means to eat everything. Omni means all seeing, all doing, and vor means to eat, so eating all. All right. Some animals called scavengers, S-C-A-V-E-N-G-E-R-S, get their food from dead organisms. Food chains and food webs are both ways to show how animals get the energy they need. A food, I'm going to delete some here, food chain shows how energy is passed from one organism to another organism. A food web can show several connected food chains. There's a picture of one right over here for you. This is the same one that you saw in your video yesterday. All right, so over here on this side of your notes, you're going to draw your own food chain in here. It's important that you know that you should show that the sun is the beginning of where all the energy comes from. You have to have a producer, a primary consumer, so remember the one that first eats that producer, a secondary consumer, which is the one that eats a primary consumer, and a tertiary consumer. So this is the one that eats the secondary consumer. And I challenge you in your food chain to think not just about what we see here in Kansas, but maybe some other places that might have some interesting food webs that you may not have ever seen before, or food chains, excuse me. So you might think about what happens in the ocean, or what happens in the desert, or what happens where it's cold. What do those animals do? So remember, you have to have the sun as your starting spot, a producer, a primary consumer, a secondary consumer, and a tertiary consumer. So three things that consume the producer. And when you are done with that, you are done with your notebook for this activity. Please make sure that your notes are securely glued into your notebook, because we don't want to have them fluttering around the room. So make sure that's nice and glued down before you bring it back to school. Please know that we will be turning these notebooks in for grades, so you need to make sure you get these activities done. So that is it for your guided notes for today. Thanks for joining me for science.